What up, what up, what up? It's Herb Hill, the Keep It Chill podcast. How's everybody doing? How you doing? How you feeling? How you living? We doing good on this side. Um, it's been a minute. It's been a little while since I did this, but this is the official uh, season 3 of the Keep It Chill podcast. It's kind of crazy. I've been doing this off and on since 2018, and I think I know the direction I want to go in now. Like, I'm trying to stay away from just like I'm not going to stay away from it, but I'm not just going to solely focus on what's really going on in the world. Like, I want to talk about things that's going on in general and things that we need to talk about that people aren't talking about. But what I want to talk about today, my whole topic today would be this mental health thing. Now, as somebody who's went through mental health issues in the time where talking about mental health issues wasn't a thing, like when it wasn't acceptable, as someone who was going through those things when it wasn't acceptable, um, it seems more like a trend these days. Like, I almost feel like people are trying to find something to hold on to I don't want to say boast about or bring themselves down with, but it just seems like it's something to it that's, I don't know. I can't really explain it, but I notice that everybody's like, oh, I have mental health issues. It's not something you want to claim, you know what I mean? That's the word I want to use. Like, it seems like there's something that they're claiming more than something that they're actually going through. And I feel, based on what I'm seeing, if you have mental health issues, you want to solve them. You want to acknowledge them. You want to deal with them. You want to heal from them so that you can grow and get past this mental health issue. Don't use it as a crutch to get out of things. Don't use it as a crutch to keep people around. Don't use it as a crutch to get the benefit of having a mental health issue. And there's not many benefits, but you get sympathy. You get, um, you know, extra opportunities and stuff like that. And it's strange because a lot of the things that are going on today, and I'm going to use these as examples because when you think about it, not only mentally but spiritually, something is wrong. And people need to be told the truth so that they can heal, so that they can overcome this obstacle in their life. So when we're talking about people being born in the wrong bodies, right? Now, I'm a man of God, and God don't make no mistakes. Now, in some situations, there are people who are born with both body parts, and that's a birth defect. There are people born with 7 fingers, and 2 legs or 2 extra legs, and 3 arms or 4 pinkies or 3 eyes or, those are birth defects. Those things happen. But to say you're born a male and because you are more feminine as you get older, doesn't mean that you were born in the wrong body. It could be the chromosomes is off, or your hormone, you got more estrogen than testosterone, or the one that a lot of people don't know about, it's a spirit. You could have a demonic spirit in you that makes you act like a female. These things are real. Like, people talk about the Matrix. The Matrix is not real. The spiritual world is real. And we all get hit with fiery darts and spirits and hindered, and anger is a spirit. Jealousy is a spirit. Lust is a spirit. Being horny is a spirit. You know what I mean? Like, being sorrowful and depressed, those are spirits. So when you have somebody like that, do you tell them the truth or do you support them on what they think that they need to do? This is where the mental health issue comes in, because if you're allowing somebody who is sick to continue to be sick and you're not telling them the truth, then you're you're furthering a mental health issue. In my personal opinion, if John is thinking that he's a girl at 7 years old, and John's parents say, "Oh, you're not a girl, but you can be anything you want to be." You're causing this child to continue to be sick. You tell him the truth. No, you are not a girl. You are a boy, and you were born a boy. Girls have this body part. Boys have this body part. When you were born, you had this body part, so therefore you are a boy. Now, there's sensitive men. There's feminine men that aren't gay. You know what I mean? There's men that cry. Men cry. We have tear ducts for a reason. So to say, "Oh, I'm a man, I don't cry," like I don't cry a lot. I don't. You know, I'm a man. I'm a very masculine man. I'm a manly man. You know, so like that whole notion that, oh, men don't cry. No, I cry, but I do not cry a lot. Like, that's a myth, and it's stupid to say, because you're pretty much saying, oh, I don't have emotion. No, we all have emotions. You may not cry to show that emotion. You might get upset. But as I just said, anger, sorrow, depression, frustration, these are all spirits, bad spirits at that. The only good spirits the Lord gives us is love, peace, joy, sound mind, meekness, gentleness, long suffering, etc., etc. But if John's parents continue to enable him or continue to support him as a 7-year-old boy thinking that he's a girl, he's going to grow up thinking that he's a girl. He's going to grow up a young man with a beard and a mustache and chest hair and muscles and a man's build, thinking that he is a girl. And you go into society like that, and people are going to criticize him, judge him, which is going to further that mental health issue, because he thinks he's a girl, but he's not. Parents can mess you up too, based on their parenting or what they feel is good or bad for you, you know, like, or the things they do around you. Those things can jack you up as a young adolescent going into adulthood, you know. So I personally feel like when those situations, not even just that, just, oh, I'm depressed, I want to kill myself, I want to harm myself, like when they're young doing these things, and I was one of those. Like, I held a lot of stuff in. I was very depressed. I was very angry because my father passed away at 3, and you know, my mom turned to some things to cope, and essentially I lost both of my parents, you know what I mean? So that abandonment, there was a void in me. I was angry, I was depressed, I was sorrowful, you know, I was hurt. I had PTSD, I had a lot of trauma. I seen my father die. So, and when I'm talking about these things, like, I can relate to some of these things, not the being a girl thing, but just depression and these spirits that were on me at a young age. Like, they hindered me for a long time in my life. So I think I have a little bit of experience of these things that I'm talking about. But anyways, like, I dealt with a lot, and as I got older, I started that feeling that I didn't want to live anymore. And it's not a good feeling, you know, like when you know you're supposed to live, but when you just don't want to live, like, and it's not a good feeling, man. Like, everybody would just tell me why I'm wrong for feeling the way I feel, but it's like nobody's here to listen to me any other time. So it was almost like a cry out for help, like something is going on and I want to fix it, but I don't know how to fix it. I ran to church, talked to family. I did everything I could do, and it never worked. You know, I expressed the things that I was going through. I expressed the things I was feeling. You know, like I didn't drink, I didn't do drugs or anything like that because I know, based on what I seen as a kid with my mom, that those things do not help you get better. Those things do not make a situation disappear. Those things do not smooth things over. You just take it out your mind for that short time, and it doesn't help you. You know, so I understand that, but nobody could tell me because nobody knew. You know, so I struggled up until I was 20 something years old, and I gave my life to the Lord. It's gone now. And a lot of things that I went through on my own, and some of those things I worked on because I knew right from wrong, and I was like, okay, wanting to hurt myself is not good. I know these things. Being angry is not good, and I try to work on it. And what I did wrong, the one thing I did wrong was with my anger, I internalized everything. I held it in, you know, and I never blew up. Is that my phone? That ain't my phone. But I never blew up and lost it or anything like that. I got in a couple fights and stuff like that over the years, but you know, before I gave my life to the Lord, I'm a square, but I black your eye like I'm Kimbo. No, I'm just playing. I'm not playing, but yeah. Anyways, like I know what I was going through, and it definitely affected me in many ways, but you know, I got through it eventually. But you know, I had some people around that kept it real with me, like, depression is a spirit. Don't claim it. Don't claim it. Don't claim it. You know, pray. You need to pray. You need to pray and put on a full body of armor. And I was just being attacked all the time by random people, not like physically attacked, but spiritually attacked. And that's what I mean. Like we think about this world and we were like, oh man, this world is this world, but people are here to lead you away from the truth, to lead you away from the Lord, to lead you away from God. Like that's what they're here to do. And you know, you see these young kids today, and you see adults today, you see teenagers today, old people today, stuck in their ways and unable to change, unable to be renewed or be recreated because they're stuck in those ways. Like, a lot of people have mental health issues, and some people don't even know it. Some people don't even pay attention to it. Some people ignore it. That's fine too, you know, but however you deal with things is the way you deal with things. Everybody deals with things their own ways. I'm not saying the way I'm doing it is the only way to do it, but I'm saying the only way, if you are a believer, if you are a follower of the Lord Jesus Christ, who is God, then you will know that you need him to heal through everything. You need him for every single thing. You got to pray over the bread you eat. You got to pray over the little drink of water you drinking. You got to pray over the little ketchup packet that you about to squirt on your food, because you don't know what's in any of these things. You don't know what's in there to hinder you, to come against you, to make you feel ill, sick, or whatever. You got to cut down the spirit of coronavirus, all that stuff. Like, it's a lot, man. But just as far as the mental health issue, like, I see a lot of people enabling people and not keeping it real with people. You got to keep it real with people that have issues. Like, and it might hurt. The truth hurts, but that's what we're here to do. We're supposed to be truthful to one another, because that's real love. If you love somebody, you'll be honest with them, even if they're not acceptive of it or receptive of it. You got to be real with people. You know, they may not like it, they may not want it, but what could you do? What could you do? You know, we supposed to keep it honest with people. You know, in my opinion, that's edification. Edification is love, but the world takes it as judgment. So, like, when I remember, and I told this story before, I'm a massage therapist, and that's my profession. And I worked on this person, this guy who thought he was a woman. He kept saying I'm a woman. Now the way I talk, if anybody knows me, they know I'm always like, "What's up, man? Hey, man." I even said to women, and I'm not calling them a man. I'm like, "Man, that's crazy." Oh man, man, that's how I talk. That's how I am. I've always been like that since I was a kid. I always am like, "Man, that's crazy." Dang, man. And nobody gets offended by it. This is the only person I ever come across in my life that got offended by it. But he thought that I was calling him a man, and we had a discussion about it. He's like, "Could you please stop calling me man?" I'm like, "I'm not calling you man." And he said, "You keep saying man." I'm like, "Well, we're talking. That's that's an expression, like that's almost like saying, I don't know. Wow. Oh, that's cool. Dang, that's dope." And he started to understand, and I was like, "Why did that offend you?" He's like, "Yeah, because I I identify as a woman." And I'm like, "Well," and I'm being real with this person. I'm not going to spare your feelings because you think what you think. I'm going to keep it real with you. Even if I don't know you like that, because I expect somebody to do the same with me. If I got a booger in my nose, I want somebody to be like, "Hey man, you got booger in your nose." All right, thanks. "Oh hey man, you got a sticker on your back of your leg." Oh, thanks man. Like, don't watch me walk around with a booger flinging in and out of my nose or some sticker on the back of my leg. Like, people don't keep it real with people, but those are that's light stuff. I'm saying this is real. This is almost a 400-pound man, an islander, a 400-pound man. That's an islander, and he was calling himself a woman. And I said, "You're not a woman though." He said, "Yeah, I understand that, but I identify as a woman." I'm saying, "But you're not a woman. Like, you can't identify as something that you are not." And I'm a very literal person. Very. It doesn't work that way. And I'm not going to allow nobody to mind F me into believing this new age society crap. He kept saying I'm a woman. My boyfriend calls me a woman. He's only been with women. He said real women. So I said, "Okay, so there's a distinctive difference then." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You said he's only been with real women. You're not a real woman." And he called himself. And he's like, I said, "Yeah, you're not a woman. You are a man. You think you're a woman. That's easier to say. Just say, 'I think I'm a woman.' You can't identify as anything." Can I identify as white? No. Can I identify as a world leader? No. Can I identify as a president? No. Can I when the police pull me over and they say, "Put your hands up," can I identify as a rich white man from the suburbs? No. So, because a person that was enabled by his parents, or maybe even decided to do this at a young age or an old age, this ain't something you just pick up in one day and be like, I'm a woman. Like, I can't say, "Look at me, I'm a man." Clearly I'm a man. You hear the bass of my voice? Like, if I woke up tomorrow and said I'm a woman, people would be like, "Man, you tripping." That's the response you need. You don't need somebody to be like, "Hey, I love you no matter what." You're gonna love them no matter what, but they also gonna love you no matter what when you tell them the truth. They may not like it, they may not want to hear it, but telling people the truth is vital in this world. And we're in a world now where everybody is supporting everybody's sicknesses. Sickness is okay these days, but it's really not. I mean, COVID-19 is not okay, but mental sickness is okay. But for the sake of mental health, just support people who are going through mental health crises. That makes no sense. When somebody's going through a mental health issue, you tell them the truth, you help them. That is the point. You are supposed to heal from it, not succumb to the mental health issue or the spiritual issue. And again, that man, that was a spiritual, that was a demonic spirit in him. He wasn't and when I say demonic spirit, I know people think of exorcists and heads turning and crap like that, throwing up green stuff. That's the movie crap. You know what I mean? Like I just said, anger, lust, depression, stress, frustration, sorrow. Those are demonic spirits that make you feel that way. Being horny, being tempting, not tempting, tempting people, peer pressure. Those are spirits. And I know people probably don't want to hear that, but it's the facts. And I'm telling you the truth. Do I need proof to back that up? No, I don't. Just think about it. Read your Bible. Open it up. Open it up. Open it up. Like, there's nothing I can do to prove it, but I think people need to understand that it's bigger than us, you know? And if we're going to support people, then we need to tell people the truth. And if you want my advice, or if you want me to, if you want my advice, or if you want me in your corner, then I'm going to have to tell you the truth. And if you don't want that truth, then I'm not going to be around. Like, I wouldn't be me if I didn't tell you the truth. Point blank and period. Because I would want people to do the same for me, which I never got. People just, when I was going through my mental health things, when I was struggling with depression and wanting to hurt myself, they wouldn't support it. They wouldn't even talk about it to me. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, everybody was talking about my back, like, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. I'm like, do you even want to know why I feel the way I feel? Do you even want to do you want to know why I feel like I want to take my life? Nobody wanted to hear it. Go talk to a preacher. I go talk to a preacher, and I see this dude's a false prophet. And it's like, damn, man, where could I go? Who could I talk to? There's nobody to talk to. There's nobody to talk to. There's nobody to talk to whatsoever. And that's the biggest issue that there is out here. It's like nobody's keeping it 100 with people, and we need that right now. Like, we need that more than ever. And it's sad because a lot of people aren't getting it, and they probably need it, and they probably would want somebody to be real with them, but they don't, and they keep enabling them. Especially as a child, when you do it to a child, just imagine the things that you create in that child. When your kids, just to think about parenting, like the things you do in front of your kids are probably going to mimic as they get older. Now, if you're out there doing drugs and partying and doing all this craziness in front of your children, just imagine what they're going to do when they get of age and they're old enough to do what you're doing, or even younger. Because when I was in high school, kids was doing cocaine and shooting up and popping pills and having all this crazy sex and orgies and stuff like that. We're 15, 14, 15, 16, 17. I graduated at 17. Just to see people doing all this stuff at that age, I was kind of like, where y'all get this from? Like, I grew up around these things, and I wasn't even doing none of that because I knew better. I just said, I don't want to do this stuff. I don't want to be a part of these things, you know? And that parents can make or break you. You can be the next successful person, or you can be the next serial killer based on how your parents raised you. And that's scary, because we're born, we're not expecting none of these things. We don't know what we're doing when we're kids. We just grow up and we become who we ultimately are destined to be, you know? But with mental health, I feel like we should be honest with people. We gotta bring back shaming people. Like, being ashamed of something isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's only bad if you make it bad. Like, if I say, Mom, if I was 12, or 15 or 16, 17 or whatever. And I said, Mom, I'm about to go rob a bank. I really believe that this is what I'm supposed to do. And my mom said, okay, son, you go do that. I support you. That's a bad parent. If I said, Mom, I'm going to go to college right now because I feel like this is the best thing for me. And she said, I support you, but I don't think that this is the best decision for you. And she gave me some reasons why not. It made me, why every time I do this, somebody talking loud in the room. Damn. But if I say, Mom, I'm going to go to school, and she said, I support you doing that, but I don't think you should go right now based on this, and that. And it let me think, I'm not going to be upset. I'm just going to think about it. Like, okay, well, sometimes parents know best, sometimes they don't. My mom was very tough, and sometimes the message was hard to understand at the time based on the way she is as a parent. But I tell you what, she was always right. Even if I don't want to admit it, if I didn't want to admit it at the time, she was always right. My mom shamed the shit out of us, and if not shame, but she kept it real with us. Even if we was dating a girl, she's like, I don't think she's good enough for you, or she's not good. I can see it, I can sense it, I know it. Something's up with her, and you like, no, Mom, I'm in love, and I'm gonna marry her. And 2 weeks later, it's over, and your heart broken. She be like, I told you. But that's real parenting to me. It doesn't feel good at the moment, but I guarantee you'll appreciate it later. And that's what I told my mom. I had to call my mom when I was 20-something, 23, 22, and apologize for being disobedient, for being disrespectful at times. Even if our relationship wasn't the greatest, and I was angry at her based on her not being present at a time when I needed her most after my father passed. She wasn't present like that, like I needed her to be. But I forgave her. And I needed to forgive her so that I can grow, because my mental health issues were deeply rooted, and they came from a lot of different things as a child. Mainly my father passing away, my mom not being present, and then you just feeling abandonment and void, and no, lack of love, and all those things that come with it. It can make or break you. And I didn't want it to break me, and I constantly tried to fix it. And years of my life I wasted being negative. I wasted being depressed. I wasted it being down and out. And the beginning of my healing process was to forgive my mother for her not being there, because what I had to realize was that she wasn't the only person that was going, or I wasn't the only person that was going through something. I realized I wasn't the only person that was going through something, and she also lost somebody. And not only me, but my brothers and family members too. I'm just the one that saw him die. That's what messed me up the most, is like why I had to be there. But it is what it is, and I'm grateful for it all now, because it made me the man that I am today. Now, you don't see, when you got all this crud all over you and just dirt and grime, and you just chipping away at life, you don't see the diamond inside of it. You don't see that. You know what I mean? And I'm constantly shining myself off now. Oh, that sound wrong. Sound real wrong. I'm constantly growing. I'm constantly evolving, becoming the better man that I'm supposed to be. And had I not forgiven my mom for her struggles, for her faults, for the things I'm sure she's regretful of, if I never forgave her for that, then I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And that was the beginning of my healing, was just me forgiving my mom. And then shortly after that, I gave my life to the Lord. And then here I am today. I'm still growing. There's still things that I'm getting it off me, and it's a lot of family stuff going on right now at this moment. and I have to get it off me, and they have to get it off of them. And I actually want to assist everybody if the Lord allows me, if Lord willing. I want to assist my family on trying to heal, because a lot of us have been through things that nobody knows they've been through, and it's like it's been quiet. Like last year, my son had skull surgery. He had this condition called craniosynostosis, and he had to get his whole head cut open, and they had to rebuild his whole skull. Nobody knows about that. I told my family, well, they know now, but they didn't know when I was going through it. And I was crying, I was going through. This is my son, my only son. I got 4 kids, and this is my son, my boy. And he was only a year old, and I had to do this, and you wouldn't understand how hard that is. And even thinking about it today is still affecting me. But I'm the type of person to keep things quiet, and everybody's like, oh, you shouldn't do that because you never know, you know what I mean? People want to know. So I got my ways too, but I also prefer to deal with things my way, because sometimes my family isn't the easiest people to talk to about things like that. So I just keep them to myself. And that's the reason why I want to talk to my family and bring everybody together and let everybody talk about the things that they've been through, so that everybody knows that we have somebody to lean on when we need it. Instead of thinking that we got to tuck this because our family doesn't make us feel validated, or doesn't make our feelings feel like they're important. And it's a crazy game, but this mental health stuff can make or break you for real. And like I said, when I began to heal was the day I forgave my mother. That was the day I decided. That was the day I began to grow. That was the day I began to heal. My healing process started that day. Sitting at that kitchen, in the kitchen at my job, working on a slope, eating lunch. That was the beginning of my healing process. And it was random, but like in a split second, I started thinking about everything that she said that I didn't agree with at the time. That at 22 years old, I realized, damn, she was right. Damn, she was right. Didn't want to hear it, but damn, she was right. And I just started thinking about our relationship, which wasn't great. And I just said, I said, man, I gotta call her and apologize, and I gotta forgive her for these things, because I'm never gonna grow if I keep holding this resentment and this anger and this hate and this bitterness in me. And those are also bad spirits. And I said, I'm never gonna heal if I don't get past this. In the Bible, Galatians 5, 16 to 26. This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do things that ye would. But if ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And they that are Christ have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another. Galatians 5. 16 to 26. So, like I said, those things that we struggle with, those mental health things, those are spirits. So it's bigger than just mental, it's more spiritual. It is mental in its physical form, but it's spiritual, the things we cannot see. So when I say it's all spiritual, just know it's all spiritual. But anyways, thank y'all for listening. Welcome back to the Keep It Trill podcast. I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to be doing this, and we'll keep at it. I'm gonna blow up this time. I'm gonna blow this season up this year. It's going on. So keep tuned, keep it trill, keep it real, stay real, and keep your eyes on your soul. Peace out.